Leadership in this industry has obviously, like all industries, has had to pivot and change in a dramatic fashion for survival purposes, and not just to survive but to attempt to thrive. In your role, tell us a little bit about what you had to do in your role with your association, not just with working with your membership, but just even with your own staff and your own business.
Yeah, so we, I remember very vividly, as many leaders do, March 16th, I was actually here in the Kootenays, and I drove back to Vancouver so that I could shut the office down. And that was, it's a small team. There were 4 of us in the office at the time, so it seems pretty straightforward. But for 2 of the people in the office, they had never worked from home. They'd never contemplated working from home. And so it was unsettling, and we needed to have conversations that were open and empathetic and supportive. And the first and foremost on my mind, and I think on the minds of most leaders, were number 1 goal is keeping people safe and make sure that they're supported. And the number 2 goal, obviously, is continuity in operations. So we were fortunate that the year before the pandemic, one of the things that we did, one of the things I had a chance to do in my first year there, was bring on board a teammate who was considerably more technically savvy than I am. And I asked him to perform a full technical audit of our operations. So it was really good timing. So we had reviewed our hardware, our software integration, the outsourced tools that we were accessing. And he had made a number of recommendations. And one of them was, hallelujah, get off the server that was sitting in the office and move to a cloud-based server, which was very supportive of obviously being able to transition to work from home. So about 4 months before we shut down, we had already done a full migration of all of our files and tools to Microsoft Teams. So we were immediately able to access what we needed to access from outside the office, and we were able to support the team members to make sure that they had proper tools. And then it was about trying to figure out our operation. As you know, we do a lot of events, a lot of in-person events, a lot of the revenue that we generate, about 60% of the revenue that we generated as an organization came from those in-person events, and that went to zero. So we had to make a little bit of a pivot to try and figure out how to overcome the contribution those events made to the core cost of our operation. So we made some tough choices on spending. We also were open and transparent with our membership about what was going on. They completely showed up for us. They paid their dues on time. They were very supportive. They participated as we asked them in sort of emergency working groups and things like that. And I think it's fair to say that, for some of these choices that we made up front, and we quickly sort of built them into more of an emergency business continuity plan, we were able to make the pivot to be a fully virtual organization, including events. We generated a bunch of new content for our members. It was a hard work period, lots of hours, but I don't think we had much else to do as a society. Yeah, we felt pretty good in the end. The team were able to make that transition. We found systems that worked for us, and we're progressing. New plans, new opportunities.